What up, junkies? Welcome to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro, avid game junkie, or actually really avid comic book junkie and anime junkie. And today's show of Culture Junkies Live, we're going to be recapping the Ahsoka premiere. 2 episodes came out last night. We're going to talk about that real brief, spoiler free, so don't worry. Also, Gamescom is going on right now, so we're going to talk about which games are really caught our attention, as well as why we have such awesome, really awesome game tech. But the game quality just doesn't seem to be keeping pace with that. So all of that, more, and your thoughts are going to be right here on Culture Junkies Live. Introducer is going to be on the show with me today. In the studio, sitting room to my right now is the great Adakuji. What's up, man?
Hey, everybody, back again. No more hair for me.
Yeah, you shaved it all off. It's kind of hot out there.
Just a few days.
Sitting across is the Dapper One GQ.
EA Sports.
Hey. From remote, we got Fallen Marvel.
What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good.
Yeah, you making a lot of friends over there on TikTok. I see you out there, man. Also, from remote, returning after a little brief absence, is King Amarak. What's up, man? How are you doing?
I was on a brief hiatus or whatnot. No, I'm good. I'm good.
So you know what? Obviously, the world got darker for you, but for the purposes of our show, if you wouldn't mind turning on the lights so we can get a little bit so we can see you a little bit better, that would thank you very much. That's a lot better. That's a whole lot better. Right, darkness. Yes, darkness, my old friend. Anyway, if this is your first time watching Culture Junkies Live, thank you for joining us for the next 45 minutes. We're going to entertain you with our topics of the show, which we briefly talked about earlier. But the last 15 minutes is all for you. The Power is Yours segment is where you get to talk about anything you guys want to talk about under the sun, whether it be, the NFL season get ready to start, whether it be, the latest anime that you want to check out or a comic book that you want us to check out. It's all up to you. And manning the controls today, last but not least, forgot to say his name. Simon Says is behind the controls today. What's up, my friend?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing? Everybody heard good?
Yeah, we're good. All right. So, let me also inform you guys on how the show works. Over here on my right shoulder is our follower goal. We've reached 6 out of 20. Once we hit that goal, we'll trigger a giveaway from our treasure chest over here, where you can win a collectible, a PS5 game, or a box set, maybe even a reading table book. But over here on my left shoulder is our extra life meter, where you can extend the show by 15 minutes just by filling it up. You can trigger that goal twice, and the Power is Yours segment will become up to 45 minutes instead of just 15. All right, y'all, without further ado, let's get ready to get into some topics, and let's run the gamut. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about and run the gamut. First and foremost, our condolences for those of you that are wrestling fans. If you guys didn't know, today, legendary wrestler, WWE, WCW, ECW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, XPW, I think they had, over there in Japan. Terry Funk, the legend himself, passed away today. He was only 79 years old, but he lived a long life. And man, that's, for those of you that are a little bit younger, yeah, for a lot of younger wrestling fans, they probably really don't know a lot about Terry Funk. But when I say this man, like, really personified wrestling, like, he was never a super huge star in the WWE, but when we were growing up, but you knew of this man, like, he was everywhere. So our condolences to him and the Funk family, and all the wrestling fans around the world that are mourning his loss. Moving along, so you guys didn't know, Blue Beetle came out last weekend. And maybe you didn't know because nobody really went to see it. It kind of bombed out. It is only, last I looked, and this was yesterday, it had only garnered $50 million worldwide. Jeez. Worldwide. So I don't know what happened here. For the most part, everybody that sees it says it was good, but just nobody's going to see it. Go ahead. What is it?
The movie. The movie industry is this movie watching thing is different. Get over here! I don't think it's just the movie itself.
What is he doing?
But
he's beginning to
almost
believe.
every movie besides Oppenheimer and Barbie, nobody really went to go see this year.
That's true. I want to say what's up to Leka. I can't really pronounce that. Leka the Artificer. For joining the Culture Junkie Nation. Appreciate that. And thank you to Keem for subscribing and re-upping. That is 28 months for you. Thank you for being with us. in other news, Zack Snyder is back. Everybody, he's been trying to do his own movie. Now he's got this Rebel Moon movie over on Netflix, and the trailer dropped yesterday. A producer of Rebel Moon coined it as thus: "It is Star Wars with swearing, sex, and violence." Did anybody watch it? Was anybody impressed? No, nobody.
I haven't watched it yet.
Nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. No.
Partially watched the trailer. I checked out like before the trailer ended. I'm sorry. I did. It's just more Snyder-isms. It's just going to be 6 hours, not Star Wars with Zack Snyder's whole thing on it. I'm just not interested.
Wait, hold on. Is it a trailer or is it a show or a movie that's actually out?
It's a trailer.
His
Not
pitch
out.
of Star Wars that didn't make it off.
What
the
is he
line.
doing?
That's basically what
He's beginning to believe.
So, like a legit like space epic. Someone said, "Hey, that's a good idea, bud."
For your first chat, it is called Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. It is called Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it because
So
I like watching it.
I'm
we
gonna
need
watch
the,
it, but here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of it's more of the same Zack Snyder BS. It may be beautifully shot, but it's excessive. Like it's being ultra just for the sake of being ultra. That seems to be Zack Snyder's entire MO. Like I've heard rumors that we're gonna get a director's cut of Rebel Moon, and I bet you that bitch will probably be like 6 hours. Watch, I bet you it'll be 6 hours.
Hey, I bet you the song they gonna play is Hallelujah.
Look, I don't know for sure if that's for real. I'm just saying I know that's exactly probably what it's gonna be. I'm just saying. All right,
Whatever.
moving right along.
Hype train. Get
Yep.
the hype train going.
You almost got a hype train, guys. Keep it going. Keep going. Thank you, Marcus A64 for your resub. Appreciate that. Arcade 1UP has revealed their latest cabinet, and it's Time Crisis. So it's gonna, obviously it's a cabinet with 2 light guns, and the packed-in games are gonna be Time Crisis, Point Blank, and both Steel Gunner games. GQ, you've collected a lot of Arcade 1UP machines. Is this worth it, or are you disappointed?
No, this isn't worth it. Here's why. Time Crisis is a great game, and I own a lot of the ports that they brought over to the various PlayStation systems or whatever. The problem with Time Crisis is in the arcade, Time Crisis didn't really get good until 2. And 2, unfortunately for them, is a 2-player game. And with it being a 2, man, learn how to pour your water over there, sir.
Slipped out of my hand. Sorry, slipped out of my hand.
With Time Crisis being a more or less better as a 2-player game, a 2-player co-op, that ain't gonna work on an arcade 1UP, especially since you both need pedals in order to hide and whatnot. So this one is just Time Crisis 1. Now Point Blank is fun. Point Blank has always been a really fun series and a really good targeting type of thing.
Was that a carnival like arcade game?
But it was all of it, all of the above.
It was all of it.
Carnival shooting, skeet shoot, all of that. So it was a fun setup and a fun thing, but like the problem is they're treating this as a deluxe cab. So I think the price of this Time Crisis machine is going to be about $600.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, $749. So no, that's disgustingly stupid. That does not even make any sense. $749 for 4 old arcade games. Go ahead, Foreman.
These are full size cabinets. Or is it still like those small ones?
No,
it's their smaller.
It's their smaller ones.
Yeah,
it's their smaller ones. So you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
A bit bigger.
$749 is just stupid for that. It's like Arcade 1UP when they first came out, the highest price on most of the machines was $300. That was fairly reasonable given what they were. Not modular, but a little miniature arcade cabinet that was done, IKEA build style and whatnot. Cool. Once they started, all these cabinets cost $449 and up. I'm like, are y'all crazy? None of these games are worth that much. Even Marvel Capcom 2, which I would love to have, it's like I'm not giving y'all $500 for that. I still have it for the Dreamcast.
Right.
Get out of here.
So. Yeah, and that's essentially what it seems like they're doing. So, speaking of milking consumers, so Tekken 8 on Gamescom, had its release date trailer, that they showed off. It's January 26, 2024. But when I talk about milking consumers, I'm specifically talking about the collector's edition for Tekken 8. That boy is clocking in at $300 for the collector's edition. $300. So I guess they can pencil GQ in for that.
I already got mine pre-ordered, but I mean, for that price, I should be getting a lap dance from Asuzena.
There you go. But what about other Tekken heads like Fallen? Are you kind of a Tekken head? You like Tekken?
Look, I was there. I didn't play the original, but I've been a fan since the second one. So like I've been a fan for a long time. But depending on what come with it, I mean, like 300 is asking a lot. I mean, I already decided to skip the Spider-Man 2 Collector's Edition, unfortunately. So,
yeah. It is what it is. You know, I don't think it's gonna change. I think it'll kind of be the same.
Are you getting back into the fighting games? I remember you won a Tekken tournament back in the day.
Yeah, I did win a Tekken tournament, and then Tekken kind of started to fall off with me with Tekken 4. And a lot of people enjoyed that game, but it was like Virtua Fighter 3, the uneven freaking platforms every once in a while, and stages was not too. But I started getting back into it a little bit. I will probably buy Tekken 8. I'm not paying $300 for what do you call that stuff? A dust collector?
Yeah, pretty much.
Essentially. You know
how me one is.
All right.
Here's the crazy thing on that real quick, just before we switch over.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at, because I was waiting for the collectors. I just needed to see what was going to be in it, blah, blah, blah. The funny thing is they dropped 3 versions of the actual game itself, though. Like, you know, they got the standard edition, deluxe edition, the ultimate edition.
Right.
Here's what's funny. The other 2, deluxe and ultimate, are digital only. Only.
What do you get in the collector's edition?
Well, in the collector's edition, you get the actual physical game. Plus,
but is it but they give you the ultimate?
Yeah.
Okay.
You basically get the ultimate edition.
Okay.
You get an actual disc.
Okay.
With it. But it's like the no. The collector's edition is a 4th version, basically. But the only if you're a physical game player, like a lot of people still are, you only get the base game. That's the only way you get it physical. Is the base game.
Why are they doing that?
Who knows?
Hold on.
If you want season pass and all that stuff, all that obviously is separate. But if you buy the ultimate edition, you are not getting a disc. It's digital only.
What?
Same thing with deluxe.
Let's see. Okay.
Companies are trying to. Dido said it a few times. Companies are trying to make you go digital.
Are you getting the seasons or anything like that?
No, you get the season passes, but if you buy the editions that come with the season passes, you are not getting a disc.
Okay, that's crazy.
The only one that comes with a disc is either the collector's edition or just a straight up base game. That's it. Everything else is digital.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna that's enough for the Power is Yours. We're gonna dwell on that. If you guys want to talk about it, we can talk about it more in the Power is Yours. So bring it up later. We're gonna jump over to the Ahsoka premiere. So last night, Ahsoka's 2-episode premiere happened on Disney Plus last night.
Spoiler.
This is gonna be a no spoiler discussion.
Can you spoil anything?
I think you can a little bit, but I mean, very barely.
You don't know what the hell is going on.
I mean, very barely you can spoil stuff. You could spoil some plot elements, but we're not going to do any of that. We're literally just going to talk about what we thought of the show, how well it was executed. I know for a lot of people, it was good. The number one complaint I heard was like the music was not memorable at all. But if you think about it, none of the Star Wars TV shows have had memorable music as far as like live action. None of them have had memorable music except for The Mandalorian. Mandalorian is the only show that's had really memorable music. Can anybody hum the Book of Boba Fett theme?
No.
The Obi-Wan theme? Anybody?
No.
Anybody?
I know the Book of Boba Fett thing because it was so funny. It sounded like somebody riffing on Boba Fett's name. Basically.
Right. Exactly. All right. So you know, as the resident Star Wars guy, what'd you think of Ahsoka, the first 2 episodes? GQ.
The first 2 episodes, I was looking at Market 64. Yes, you could jump into the show. You should watch Rebels if you can before you jump in. That'll make some of the characters make more sense. Some of the references and stuff you're talking about. However, the show is structured in a way where if you're a competent viewer of any type of media, you'll know what's going on just from watching what's going on. You just might not know exactly who they're talking about. And get those reveals as the show progresses.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. The production value is looking way above all of the other Star Wars shows that we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have mastered the volume as far as that place where that space that they film in, as far as making it look really, really good. There was only maybe one sequence that I remember from the first episode, actually near the end of the first episode, where it's like, oh yeah, they're still in that dome, and it's like liven up that background just a little bit more. But I mean, whatever. That's nitpicking. Turn your ringer off, man. Goodness, breaking all the rules, man. Breaking all of them. Anyway,
Professionalism.
No, but overall, I enjoyed it. Both episodes were solid. They're doing great story building. The pacing is actually a lot better than a lot of the other shows that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pleased with it so far.
Okay. Let's talk to Dido. What did you think of the first 2 episodes?
I quite loved it, and me being the person who did watch Rebels I'm enjoying seeing where these characters are going, because for me, and I know a lot of people aren't there like that, when things that I like end, I'd like to watch more of it. That's why I never complain that there's too many episodes. Fuck that shit. I like it. I want to see as much as possible. And now there's more. It's basically a kind of a continuation, but the focus is on Ahsoka, where the other show, the focus was on the crew of the Ghost, Phantom, the Spectres. They were called. That was their That was the name of their code crew. Their code name was Spectre. Anyway, I want to see where they're going with it. I like the characters. I want to see more of the characters. But like everything that GQ said, looked amazing. It felt amazing. All of it felt like a Star Wars show that people complain about so much. That this doesn't feel like Star Wars. Doesn't feel like Star Wars. Not all Star Wars has to taste like cherry pie, man. You get friggin' apple pie in there once in a while. Still good. If you don't like apples, stop eating. Go choke yourself. No, I shouldn't say that. But it was. I liked it.
Yeah. So dare I ask if Amarak, if you've seen Ahsoka? Have you? Skip you. Okay, I will skip you. Yes, I'll skip you. What?
Guess what? I watched the first one today.
You watched the first one? Okay. Well, you can at least talk about the first episode.
Actually sit down. Yeah, no. First episode. Like, okay, so I was expecting this one to be, I don't want to say like low budget, but like not as high as in production value as like Mando. But it looked like, because this is one of those stories that came off of something else that like not everyone knew what was happening. So I'm just thinking, oh, okay, they're finishing out some story, fleshing out her character and all that shit. I didn't know it was going to be like this. The show looked really good. Like,
no, it did.
Pacing nice, lighting and all that shit. It was great.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I learned some things. I got a little bit confused on some of the timing, but aside from that, without watching Rebels or enough of Rebels, I was able to follow what was happening, which made me happy while I was at work.
Okay. All right. And Fallen? Yeah, no. So you haven't seen it yet either? You haven't seen it yet, Fallen?
No.
Okay.
No, I waited. Right. So like I was going to check it out for
Real quick, Takeem highlighted a message saying that
Harrison Dula is a twilf. Like, okay,
what the hell is a twilf?
So a
Twi'lek.
Do we really need to spell this out for you?
A Twi'lek that you'd like to.
No, I'm messing with y'all.
I was gonna say, do we really need to spell this out for you?
With your Star Wars,
right? Exactly. Do we really need to spell this out for you? He puts the apology for the other half in the chat. I love that. You better wait for me to watch the next episode. Oh, he's in trouble. He in trouble. He in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Oh, he in trouble.
Hold on. But that's why he had them lights out.
Right. He was watching on the download. He was like,
He had that volume low.
Mm-hmm, right. Exactly. Anyway, so no, I watched it. I have to follow along. I thought the introduction of the antagonist, the late Ray Stevenson's Balin,
R.I.P.
was really well done. I also like the little nods to both old Star Wars, like the original trilogy, and even Rebels. You saw what's his name?
Clancy Brown.
Saw Clancy Brown
his character,
reprising his character from Rebels. I thought that was a nice touch.
Cool. That senator was also reprising a character from Rebels.
Yes,
he had met Ezra when they were both went to Empire Academy.
Yeah.
When Ezra went undercover. That's somebody he met while he was there.
So the guy that he brought up when Sabine.
Yeah, when Sabine didn't.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I wanted to point out is the return of Home One. We haven't seen Home One since Return of the Jedi.
True.
Which I thought it was pretty cool to see Home One. You know, we haven't seen. I mean, that's one of them, you know, kind of really super nerdy, you know, Easter egg things. It's like, oh man, it's Home One. It's like, that's awesome. You see him sitting in the same room where they had the briefing for the Death Star, or the second Death Star run and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, this is cool. So, you know, but Ahsoka I thought was really, really well done. I really liked also, for me, and you guys may or may not agree, I really thought that as opposed to when we first saw her as Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson clearly studied Ahsoka's mannerisms from all of the animated series, because she was doing a lot of her body language and a lot of her stuff, and even the cadence of how she talks a lot better in this show than she was doing in previous appearances. So I thought that was really, really cool. And so Adobe Girls just gifted a sub to Hannah Omega, which is nice.
Awesome.
Appreciate that.
Hey, nice.
Appreciate that.
Another thing I noticed about it was the opening was a parallel to the opening of Phantom Menace. Like, as far as the Jedi showing up to a ship.
Yes.
Wrecking shop, basically.
You're right. No, you're right.
He seemed like, to me, like Nega Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
Because he had like the cadence and like the freaking like, not stature. How would you say, like not cadence? Presence of like Obi-Wan, but like not good.
Oh yeah, like just like
I think I would say Qui-Gon, to be honest. Oh no, Qui-Gon was a little bit more.
I mean,
chill.
old Obi-Wan, not young Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if Alec Guinness was evil.
Exactly, because instead of just you know, we're here on blah blah blah, it's like, let me show you my
it's like, it's open for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like that.
Exactly.
Again, I'm so it sucks that he's gone, because he's always, every role Ray Stevenson was in, he freaking owned it. Punisher owned it.
Yeah.
Freaking what's his name?
Volstagg
owned it. It's like, dude has been good in everything. And it's just like, damn, I would have loved to see his character in this. Now, granted, his character might get killed by the end of the series.
Right.
Who knows? I would love to see more of his character, though. His character is really cool.
Yeah.
I like the concept of it.
Because I think it would have been great had he not passed away. And you're right. We don't know what's going to happen to his character by the end of the show, right? They may have intended for him to be part of that Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Mandalorian crossover movie that Dave Filoni's doing.
Right.
Which, you know, I have to admit, the more we see, the more excited I'm getting for that when that finally does come out.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Again, when she showed up in Book of Boba Fett, man, it was just like, whoa, you got Luke, Ahsoka, you know, Boba Fett, Mandalorian, like all in the same show. It's like, oh, this is awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm definitely.
Like, it was great.
More.
All right, guys. Without further ado, we're gonna actually take a quick break, play our Patreon message, and give thanks to our patrons. Then we'll be right back, jumping into Gamescom stuff. We'll be right back.
The entire Culture Junkies crew would like to thank you for tuning into our programming. We hope you are enjoying our content as much as we enjoy making it. One thing that helps us continue bringing you our unique content is viewer support. By visiting the Culture Junkies Patreon page, you will have the opportunity to select the support level that works best for you. Not only will your support help keep the Culture Junkie Nation growing, but you will make yourself eligible to receive patron-exclusive swag. Please take a moment to consider supporting us and join the ranks of the supporters you see listed on the screen. We would like to also give a special shout out to our Culture Junkies level and above patrons: DeMarcus Smith, Fab Nerd Life, NanetteNet, The Other Steve, and Black Crowned Knight. Remember, for as little as $1 a month, you can support a Culture Junkie. Thank you.
All right, thanks again to all our patrons for their continued support. You know, go to patreon.com/Culture Junkies and join the ranks of the other fellow members of the Culture Junkie Nation. All right, so if you guys didn't know, Gamescom is going on actually right now, and we've been treated to a lot of trailers. So I wanted to ask everybody in the panel. Fallen Marvel had to drop out; he'll be back later, and maybe we'll get his at that time. But I'm gonna go around the table, and everybody, you know, give me each game, the game that you thought stood out the most to you, that you're really looking forward to. Let's start with Amarak, since you've been away from a while. So what game from Gamescom stood out to you the most?
God, you haven't learned the lesson of asking me to pick one.
Yeah, you got to pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Okay, so if I have to pick one, it can't be Wukong. It would have to be Crimson Desert.
Okay.
All right.
Crimson Desert.
Like, it's got all the stuff that my brain wants to do, and it caught the most of my attention.
Just real brief for those that may not have watched it yet. What is Crimson Desert? Just try and be real brief and why it's cool to you.
Without destroying it by just naming off the everything, it's literally everything rolled into an RPG. You get hunting, fishing. You got the mindless quest. You have the main story quest. It's got a lot of Zelda to it. It has really good looking graphics and a Devil May Cry-ish almost battle system inside of an RPG. And it just everything about it so far is caught my interest.
Okay.
This one you just got to watch the trailer. It's hard to explain it. It's literally just a mashup of everything that my brain wants.
Okay. So for you, it's kind of like the immersion deal that it's really sold for you. Dido, for you, what is the one game from Gamescom that is like really caught your attention?
Well, the one that he mentioned, but the game that probably I would buy day one, I don't even think it was debuted at Gamescom, and that's the Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name.
That's fine.
I am definitely a fan of I still call it the Yakuza series. I mean, the mama called it Yakuza, I'm gonna call him Yakuza.
Ryu Dakotoku. Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it since the PlayStation 2. I've bought all the games that I think, except for Ishin. I haven't got that one yet, and I think there's a second Judgment game. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't got that one yet, but I like those games. They're so immersive. They're so like crime drama-y, and I don't know, dude.
So you showed me one feature that's coming into this game that you may or may not be.
It's been in previous games.
But it's a twist on it. So what is it this time?
They call them hostess clubs in Japan, where you go to pay money to talk to beautiful women. They pour you drinks and do all this other stuff, right? It's been in all the games. You can do them in other games. But this time, they're going to be real women. Now, mind you, they were real women in a lot of the games where they modeled the faces after either, I don't know if they worked at hostess clubs or they were porn stars or AV idols, as they call them over there.
Right.
One of the two. But this time, it's full motion real women, not computer generated, and that pool shows up. And I don't know if you guys know about what that pool is, but if you just Google that pool, and I can't believe they put that in the game.
Yeah, just make sure your safe search switch is off.
They may not show anything raunchy right off bat.
We'll see,
but it'll tell you what that pool is.
Yeah, we'll see. Seeing as GQ, what was the one game that kind of caught your attention?
Tekken 8. Finally got a release date for it, so I got mine pre-ordered, ready to go. That was the only piece of the puzzle missing, because you guys know I'm still more of a fighting game fan than most other genres. I mean, I do obviously play other games.
Sure.
But Tekken was the last part of the Trinity, made up of Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken. So now that one's locked in, I don't have to think about any other fighting games for the rest of at least next 6 months or so, because Mortal Kombat's coming a couple weeks from now, I think 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Tekken 8 got the collector's edition.
Okay.
Ridiculous price, but whatever.
All right. For me, the one game the trailer that stuck out to me that I really liked the most, and this may be surprising coming from me, but it was the Modern Warfare 3 trailer, the single player campaign trailer. For me, Call of Duty's single player experience has always been great, like been absolutely fantastic. It's very cinematic. You kind of get put through the soldier, and you're going on these missions that you have to complete. I like that aspect of first person shooters. I would play more first person shooters if they were less multiplayer focused, right? If they were single player focused, like these Call of Duty single player campaigns, I will play them more, because I don't have the time to get into, or even have the patience to play with to play with people that do nothing but play online. They install aim bots on their PCs and stuff like that, so they can get these high ridiculous kill death ratios. I don't want none of that. I literally just want to go through. I'm playing as a soldier. I have to complete this mission. I want to get it done. I want to see what unfolds. I really like that about the first person shooter genre, and it's completely missing now from the game. And Call of Duty seems to be the only one that's doing it. Battlefield used to do it, but they've stripped it out. They like, no, it's multiplayer only. We don't care about single player. So that's just me.
And the multiplayer sucks on the new one. So yeah.
The multiplayer for most first person shooter games, I mean, I'm just over it. It's repetitive. There's nothing really new. There's nothing new they can do with it. It's just all the same.
No Hand of Omega. Nobody's looking forward to Hello Kitty's Island Adventure 2.
Yeah. So
you might be looking forward to it.
Lastly, I know Fallen actually isn't here, but he did put his in the chat. He said it's Black Wukong, the Legend of the Monkey King game that's supposed to be coming out. It's almost like a Chinese Dark Souls type deal.
Okay.
Now, I remember when the game was first announced, or when they first kind of dropped a trailer for it a couple of years ago. I thought it looked really impressive. The Gamescom trailer that they dropped yesterday was not impressive. Like it didn't show anything new or anything really stunning. Like I remember in the first trailer, you saw the Monkey King fighting against a dragon or something like that. That was like flying in the air and it was shooting lightning at you. It looked really, really cool. None of that in this last trailer. I was just like, it's kind of really underwhelming. So before we move on real quick, I will ask the producer Simon Says, what was yours? What was your game that you thought was impressive?
I would say I saw. It's called The First Descendant. So it's basically I
remember seeing that. Yeah,
I believe it's a free to play, but it's sort of like I guess Destiny, but a third person shooter. But it's pretty dope. I actually like it. You could, even though you can't
see that. Yeah,
even though you can't pick or create your character, but you can pick your class or whatever class you have. They have like your tank, your sniper, and all this stuff. But I like games like that where it's like a looter shooter. Just like going around killing massive boss, doing raids.
In the first Descendant, I couldn't help but notice that they put the women in these super skin tight latex suits.
There's a one with the bunny outfit.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes,
I was like, what the hell? I'm talking about. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely. I think I did sign up for the beta, but I got double check because I haven't received anything. But I did sign up for the beta, so I'm gonna like play that once it drops. And I think like next month.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, guys. So we're going to move on to our next topic. If you want to talk about what Gamescom games stuck out to you, make sure you bring them back up in the Power is Yours segment in about 15 minutes from now. So we have all this really cool technology. The current gen, I think, has been more powerful than ever. Ray tracing, DLSS, we're getting crazy frame rates. Most games can achieve some frame rates of like 120 frames per second and look absolutely insane, like photorealistic and all that kind of stuff. But why is it that the games themselves just can't seem to match up with the graphical quality that we're getting now? The one game that I want to bring up, right? The poster child for this is Forspoken.
I'd buy that for $1.
Thank you for that to Minority Games. Appreciate that. The poster child for this is, like I said, it is Forspoken. This game, the trailer came out, it looked beautiful, everybody was really excited to play it, and then the game comes out and it completely craps the bed. So, Dido, this was your topic. What do you want to speak on this?
Well, some of you guys may know me out there as being the one that collects a heck of a lot of games, and some of the games that I collect are ones that feel and play like things that of the past, nostalgic games, and some of the ones that come out that are brand spanking new to me, like the Souls type game. You never really had anything like the Souls games till 3D started to hit, right? But now, actually, not really till 3D started to hit, not until Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, you started having stuff like the Souls games. But it feels like nowadays games are coming out, and it's just the same thing, different coat of paint. And like, I guess we could complain about like first person shooters because those are like the biggest hits now. And how much can you change up a first person shooter? They try, like they came out with and Amarok probably played a whole bunch of Overwatch. Overwatch is a very fun, competitive first person shooter game, very fast, very twitchy. It's probably something that I would have played back in the 90s because it wouldn't have made me sick. But then they started to come out with a lot of, what was that other one? Was it like Battleborn or something like that?
Valorant. Yeah.
Valor. Yeah, but like it was like they're just trying to cash in on a whole bunch of stuff. Like even back in the day, they don't do it too much now. The fighting games, everybody's trying to come out with a fighting game. It's Street Fighter 2, but it's like the innovation for a lot of games is very slow. The graphics look great, like that game Crimson Desert. I came in when we were watching that. It's probably the best looking game I've seen. I can't think of anything that looks better. Like the particle effects, just how many people on screen. Like just it looked great. But I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, okay, that looks like a Souls game, but it's probably not as hard. They're doing shit that Zelda, they're doing literally in Tears of the Kingdom, where you're floating islands, and he's jumping off the fucking islands and skydiving. Then you see him going through what looked like a chasm, like in Zelda. I'm like, Zelda's only been out for a few months, and you're already making a game that, granted, looks a million times better than Tears of the Kingdom, but it's playing like Tears of the Kingdom. And it's just like, you guys are trying to innovate, but you're not really doing a good job innovating. And we sucker gamers keep just buying the same shit over and over and over again.
Let me ask you a question. When you talk about innovation, what exactly do you mean by that? When you're talking about innovation,
like something that's different that gives you, like, for example, right? And I'm gonna go back to the series that I like, the Yakuza series. Now, long time ago, they came up with RPGs. Every single RPG, from my understanding, that was on NES, Master System, Genesis, Super Nintendo, were all turn-based, because that was the thing. It's turn-based. At the time, up until I started playing Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 4. Yeah, like the number is confusing. It's actually 6 in Japan. Forgot what they called it over here. I started playing those, and I was like, I'll give turn-based a chance, because I was a little bit older, reading in the stories. And Final Fantasy 7 came out and really started to, for me, pull me into the RPG, right? But there's not really any innovation in any RPG. The stories are different, the graphics are different, same gameplay, right? Then you start to get more deeper into 3D stuff. And then you had Shenmue come out, which wasn't really an RPG in the same manner, but it was something that was story driven, and you had real time fighting in it. But you didn't really, you could make yourself better, but it wasn't the same thing like leveling up. But then like they took, to me, which felt like an innovation. I could be wrong in others' opinion, but my opinion, like Yakuza. Yakuza series took what was like the best of what was Shenmue, the best of RPGs, and made it its own stuff. They innovated on it, because though you ran around the city and you got into fights randomly like in RPGs, you actually fought, and you did gain experience points, and you learned new moves, and you learned new techniques, and you did all this other stuff. But it wasn't turn-based until, like a Dragon or Yakuza 7 came out, which they decided to make it turn-based for whatever reason. But like, it's like that, because until then, I don't recall. Now, there was probably other action RPGs out there that you can include into the innovation. Like, I don't know what came first, that or Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts to me felt like an innovation of an RPG. Because
it was. I think it was the first real action RPG.
Yeah, because you're not standing around waiting for somebody to hit you.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, if it ain't broke, they're not fixing it. I don't know how many Call of Duty games are out there. I don't know how many, what's the other one?
You mean like NBA 2K?
Well, it's kind of hard to innovate on the sports games. Leave sports games out of this.
Okay.
Sports games are going to be
too?
sports games. Racing games can only just get more realistic.
Okay.
Unless you want them to be arcadey, which I miss the arcade racing games.
I miss the arcades too.
Because to me, arcade racing games were the most fun, but it's kind of hard to actually innovate in that aspect. And I'm not necessarily asking for the industry to innovate to the point where, like, this is brand spanking new, but something has to come up, something has to give eventually. Granted, we're going to play games that we feel are fun. We were brought in by the graphics, and then we're going to see if it's something that toot your fancy or whatever.
So Amrock, I'm going to ask you, do you have anything to say / comment about what Dado's bringing up here?
No, he nailed what's happening. Oh my God, right now. I got hold on, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay then. There goes that. GQ, what do you think?
Well, to Dido's point, the innovation has pretty much fallen off, and I think a part of that is a product of what normally happens once these games get bigger, better, badder. They get more expensive to make, and now we're falling into the same thing that the movies industry has had trouble with for a while. Companies want sequels. Companies want proven properties. Companies want more of the same because that seems to be what's making the money. We had talked about it a little bit before the show. Sports games, like you said, don't really count because you can't really change them because sports are sports.
Mm-hmm.
But Call of Duty, if fans suddenly stop buying Call of Duty would be forced to innovate, but that's not going to happen. People always buy Call of Duty when when the next one drops.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with even though Fortnite is free to play, Fortnite is one of the most popular games in the world and most profitable games in the world because people like what they're getting. So only thing left for them to do with that game is just add more guest characters. That's kind of what they've been doing for the past couple of years. Going back to he had brought up the Xbox 360 generation. There was a game called Stranglehold that starred Chow Yun-Fat. Great action game, super innovative, stepped way outside the box as far as how it was developed, the action in the game. I would love to see more stuff like that, but we're at the point now where there was a game all the way back when the PlayStation 2 first dropped called The Bouncer. That was supposed to be the tech demo of the trailer that they did because the actual game was nowhere near.
No.
But it's we can do all of that stuff now, and the company is just it's they forgot about it. There's a lot of opportunity there that just seems to just not being taken advantage of because we're stuck in that rut of these games cost millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to make now versus back then where you didn't have to worry about biggest and baddest graphics. The gameplay is what was going to sell the game.
Would you include a game like Sifu in that innovation category? Because I think when you think of Stranglehold, when you think of that that Jet Li game that was on PlayStation 2, Sifu was like a spiritual successor of that.
That
right?
Jet Li game suffered from bad control.
Oh, it did. No, it did.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool with the analog stick and being able to attack in any direction you want. I thought that was really cool, but it was just a bad game.
That and Death by Degrees both had that same messed up control sequence, and it was just these games would have been fine if you would have just gave us regular control or something. Again, I get it. They were trying to try something new. Nothing is as bad as that one game was Drake and the 99 Dragons as far as control. But,
wow.
But even for example, that Jet Li game, it was the birth of what they perfected in the Arkham series because the Arkham combat is
flawless.
Like that. It's flawless.
Yes, it's flawless.
So it's. I would love to see and again, innovation is tough when you got millions upon millions of dollars on the line and you can't really step too far outside the box because if you do, it fails and you probably lose your job or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know.
You bring up a good point, right? Yeah. So with what you just said, and Amarak, you just came back, so I'm gonna ask you this: do you feel like, to Dido's point, whose fault is this? Is this with games that aren't giving innovation? Is this pressure from shareholders and the not giving the devs enough time, money to innovate, or is this just laziness on part of game devs with they're not really pushing the envelope. They're kind of playing it safe and going with what works.
Okay, so there is a lot of playing it safe going on, but we've honestly just reached a point where being the best and having the most best titles has become more important than making video games. The stuff that has caught my attention, honestly, in the past years, is shit no one's ever heard of because they're games. They feel like games and stuff still. It doesn't have to have the best graphics and things like that. And people who are concentrating on that don't get acknowledged. So it just kind of seems like the only thing we're getting over and over again is the same shit, and nobody's getting like innovative with it.
Okay.
Like we've lost the plot of what a video game is, and that's bad. But we've gotten to the point where we have the stuff to remember, because this year was great. There were great games that happened, but the best ones were the ones that were not hyper realistic.
That's true. You know, think of like Hyper Light Drifter and things like that, where they're almost like pseudo 8-bit games, but they're really, really innovative. You think of the roguelikes.
Did you play Hi-Fi Rush?
No, I haven't played it.
The rhythm game, it's quite possibly my game of the year.
Okay. And maybe you're right. Maybe there's and I think Takeem just put it in the chat, it's AAA Studio BS, where they feel compelled that they have to make everything on the bleeding edge of graphical quality, and then the rest of the game kind of suffers because of that. I don't know. I could be right about it. Okay. All right, guys. We're about out of time. I'm sorry. Simon Says. What were you gonna say?
No, I agree with Amarok to the split where it's like they want to spend more money on the actual graphics than actually put more effort into the actual story of the game. So take, for instance, like Call of Duty and everything. They, you know, I take that back. CD Projekt Red, they told us the game will be done when it's ready. Cyberpunk, yeah. So they kept pressuring I would say this is the fans' fault, to be honest with you. I couldn't really say if it's the fault of the actual suits or the devs, but the devs said it'll be out when it's ready, but then everyone kept saying, "Oh, when is it coming out? When is it coming out?" They said, "Okay, we'll put it out. It's not ready, but we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and send it out."
That was kind of their fault. They never should have caved to fan pressure.
That's what happened.
They never should have done that.
They shouldn't have. They caved, and that's what they got, and the fans are pissed. But hey, that's your fault, not the devs. You guys asked for the game, and you wanted the game to come out.
Well,
you've been bitching about it for about almost 4 or 5 years, and then they showed you a trailer of the game. The game looks great, but again, they said it wasn't ready. But you guys the fans wanted it. Oh yeah, we want the game now. Okay. We'll give it to you.
Well, so, you know, I disagree because, you know, at the end of the day, the devs have the ultimate control. They just caved. So that's on them. But anyway, we're about a couple of minutes over. We're not going to cheat the people anymore. Get your comments and questions ready because the power is yours.
The power is yours.
Heartburn is mine.
Oh yeah, I actually want to shout out to Minority Games. Yes, I'm getting Armor Core 3. Yep, that's on my list.
Armor Core 3 does look pretty cool, but it's not a day one purchase for me. I'm gonna wait on it. I am gonna wait.
Never played an Armor Core game, and I saw the prices for the first one, which was what, PlayStation
the original,
2?
yeah, PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah, PlayStation 1.
Hey, kiss my butt.
Yeah, no. Armor Core has always been a game I've really looked forward to. So, one question. Hannah Omega saying, should they use Kevin Conroy's voice library to make more Batman games?
I
would be okay with it if his
family
estate, if his estate says it's cool, and if Kevin had said it before he passed away, I want to be Batman forever. Go ahead and do it.
No puns to the movie.
Right.
King Takeem saying he wants more mech games.
I would too.
Yeah, but there's no like there's no fan base for it.
I don't know about that.
Maybe in Japan.
I think there could be, seeing as how Gundam is still popular, right? Everybody remembers Steel Battalion.
Oh yeah.
Everybody remembers Steel Battalion.
God,
could we now? I'm not calling for doing crazy ass controller like we had, like they had back in the day.
They may as well.
They may as
well.
They
made a sequel to Steel Battalion on the 360, right?
Yeah,
give me that with today's game. Like, give me a Mech Warrior game that's in VR. Give me a Mech Warrior game like Elite Dangerous, like where I can control like Elite Dangerous in VR. Oh, I'd be in heaven. I'd be in heaven.
But to Dido's point, they made a Steel Battalion sequel, but the problem is, one, you had to. The game is its best when you had that whole setup, that full, crazy mech controller setup.
Yeah.
The problem is when the sequel dropped, it was like most people didn't even play the first one because it was so hard to find. Well, no, dude. Realistically, if you think about it, that game was $150. Today's money, that'd probably be $2 something. Whatever. Yeah. That's not that expensive. The problem was it dropped on a system that was on its way out the door. If they would have waited until the 360 and then dropped that, okay, cool. Brand new system. This, you got this game, and hopefully you're gonna have a sequel to it or something, and make it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Steel Battalion 2, I think, was just a regular. From what I understand, was just a regular mech game, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it was, and they didn't use the controls with it.
Yeah, it was like it used the Kinect as well, which is like
the Kinect.
Yeah, so it's like
that's crazy. Okay.
Well, that's what they were trying to push the hell out of the Kinect when they first dropped it. Anyway.
Yeah, they were. Remember that absolutely disappointing Star Wars Kinect game? I do.
Hey,
Jesus.
The Han Solo song was great though.
Here's your first non-video game question.
How will the Lions do this season? Playoffs, Super Bowl? I would say playoffs, not Super Bowl.
They're winning 2 games.
Playoffs? Playoffs?
Yeah, they probably are going to win 2 games. That'll be it.
Nah, they're not going to be that bad.
I'm not falling for this blatant provocation.
I don't know,
that's
dude.
being put out here.
I know you bleed Honolulu blue, but it's just like I don't know.
Look,
dude.
People that don't believe, I can't fault you because they've been the Lions for so long. When they do right, you'll give them.
It's for me.
It's SOL, man.
Not even that.
Stop it.
For me,
it doesn't exist.
Why do you get so hyped and believing that they're suddenly going to do better when last year, the year before, it's like, for me, I temper my expectations. I don't have any.
Okay.
They play their game. If they win, great. If they lose, whatever.
When you see the progression, from last year to this year, you see that their roster has only gotten better. You start to prognosticate and say, okay, they're going to be pretty good this year.
You start to prognosticate.
Now, it's not just me. It's not just me.
Again, that is a fault of a sports fan then, because all you got to do,
it's media personalities too.
All you got to do is approach it as either they're going to win this game or they're going to lose this game. Go game by game, not what their entire season is going to be, because guess what? They could have a great quarterback, draft the best quarterback in the world. He could break his leg on the first play of the first game.
No, this is all true. This is all 100% true.
So you just got to watch game by
game.
game.
No, you gotta watch the games. Got to let it play out. For me,
that's gonna take it this year though.
For me, like I said, no, they ain't. Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna do shit.
What the hell
anyway,
is going on?
No, like I was saying though, I think playoffs. I don't think Super Bowl. Super Bowl would be a fantasy. Like if they get to the Super Bowl,
whatever.
Would you sell your kidney to get Super Bowl tickets to go see the Lions? Probably not. But who knows? You might not ever see it again in your lifetime if they do get there.
Dude, WrestleMania front row at WrestleMania for the full experience is $21,000.
Yo, I couldn't believe they put that out there. Like $21,000.
I can't even imagine what front row or 50-yard line for the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl, man, it's crazy.
Brian had a question.
Brian had a question.
Yeah,
what was the question?
Says, I know it's an old subject, but do you all think they should make a Daredevil game since he's popular now?
No.
Since he didn't get one years ago. I thought he did for like PlayStation.
There was a demo.
It was a demo.
Yeah, there was a demo. And it was weird.
It kind of was funny though. It looked like I guess his radar sense was like the precog to the detective mode. That was kind of funny
in Arkham because everything was shaded in blue.
Here's the thing. We just said we want innovation. If somebody could come up with a really good concept for that game, they could actually do it.
Sure, they could do it.
Yeah.
They would just
Here's innovation for you.
And it would be Spider-Man clone, and that would destroy it. So what else would you be
make
able
it?
to do?
You know what? Here's what I would do.
I wouldn't give it to Somniac.
I would make it a VR game.
Oh,
I would make it a VR game where.
Okay.
Let me speak. I would make it a VR game where it more or less dims your vision, so you really basically are more or less blind. Not completely. Obviously, that would be really jarring for some people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play it with a headset, Like that would be a requirement. You have to have earbuds in or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they legitimately will enhance all the sounds, all they got haptic feedback in the new whatchamacallit, in the new PlayStation 2 PlayStation VR 2 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That could give you that true sensation of really being Daredevil. And the only time you can quote unquote see is the same way they did it in the movie, where if it's raining, the reverberations off of the surfaces is what gives you kind of. Dude, there's a lot they could do with that. It would be probably the most expensive development, but I think if something like that went well, that would be your innovation.
I just have a feeling that a lot of people wouldn't really get with it. You know, that's just
loss.
me. That's
Amarak got something to say.
Now, go ahead, Amarak.
It exists and it's VR and it does literally that. You can't see unless the little sonar echo goes out and everything is lined in blue. I completely forgot the name of the game, but you can get it on PSVR.
Dead Over VR. They had that already, GQ. It's called the Virtual Boy.
Oh, God. That thing is crazy.
Yeah, dark red and nauseating. Yeah, 100%. So if you want innovation in the superhero space, if they can manage to do a really good Superman game, or it'd be impossible to do a Flash game. I don't think there's any way they can make a Flash game.
It's called Sonic.
Any good?
Yeah, it's called Sonic.
I guess,
Sonic
but
game
it was just I don't know, something about a
new Sonic
showing at Gamescom.
Yeah, I saw the new Sonic game. It's supposed to be like multiplayer side scroller Sonic game. But anyway, there's no way they can make a Flash game and actually be really good. I don't think there's any way they could do that. Did you see that one demo they had for PlayStation? Was it PlayStation 2? I think it was. It was either PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3. There was a Flash game demo that they had out there.
Yeah, I remember
he was
that.
literally just running around Central. Yeah, he was just running around Central City, and it was like, okay, this is boring. Like what? Like, come on, what is this?
Hold up. You want to impress me? Try it and do another Aquaman game. That'll impress me.
No.
That'll impress me.
Just
all
no.
right, so Hand of Omega said all these black folks in here and they ain't seen the blackening. I had no interest in seeing the blackening.
I'll see the blackening when I feel like it. Like I've got it. I'll just see it when I feel like watching it. That's it.
Same here. I kind of wanted to see it in the theater.
Me too.
But then again, I'm just like,
it wasn't that important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, just like going to the theater is starting to be like less of a thing that I have to do. I don't know. It used to be something I loved doing. I do it so much. I do it by myself, kind of like that other thing people don't want to talk about.
I don't think it's you just don't like people. Like if the people were removed
That's
from
why
it,
I
I
used
think
to
you
go
would do
to
it.
the theaters that nobody went to. They closed both of them down.
You go to the Star.
Both Stars. Star Dearborn, Star Southfield. They closed them down.
Well, a lot of the companies have cut their own legs off from under them as far as the theater experience by releasing these movies on streaming soon after their theatrical release. They're training people to get used to
back.
not going to the theaters.
Oh,
that's what's killing their box office.
okay. Fallen has returned for the power is yours. Welcome back, sir. So Wolverine Solid X is asking, was Blue Beetle good? So I didn't see Blue Beetle yet. I'm going to see it, but from everybody that I know that has seen it, they said it's good. Better than The Flash. Yeah. Like, it's actually a good movie. It's not like The Flash where it's like I was just disappointed in it. It could have been so much better. No, they said Blue Beetle was good, but just nobody's going to go see it. And I think this is literally just a byproduct of, DC. People are just kind of out on DC right now.
Was Echo the Dolphin the best underwater game, or was there another one that's better?
I'm trying to think. I haven't played too many underwater games. If you think about it.
Well, I mean, you got Echo the Dolphin, you got Aquaman.
Aquaman was straight garbage.
I played neither. Though. So,
Echo the Dolphin was great because
literally Echo Jr. was the last underwater game I ever played.
What are you saying, Dido?
I got it when I got my Sega CDX after I graduated middle school a long time ago, and I played every single level of the original Echo the Dolphin. The CD version, the music was great, and it was a pretty fun game. Not easy at all.
It was not.
Right.
Oh wait, I'll take that back. Jaws was a fun underwater game.
The new one?
No, Jaws for the NES.
No, I was thinking of that new shark game where you played a shark.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. Yes,
that was actually pretty damn fun.
Yeah,
that'd definitely be fun.
The other Steve says Blue Beetle was good. Preem says Subnautica was dope.
Okay.
Do I have that? There's an underwater game. I have a PlayStation 4.
Wait, wasn't there one other one that used the microphone on?
Used a microphone?
It was a. I could have sworn it was an underwater game. It used a microphone that came with the game.
You mean semen?
Yeah, I think it was Seaman.
Yo,
yeah.
check how you said that, man. Yo, check how you said that.
That's what it was called.
Look,
that was an
when I
actual
started
game.
talking to that thing and it started talking like actual shit back to me, I gave up on it.
You just said it a little bit too quick.
That was
slow
early,
it down.
That was
Seaman.
early AI.
Yeah.
I bet that game like completely bought. New in box is probably worth a stupid amount of money.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Marcus 864 TMNT on NES was my underwater game.
Oh God, yeah, you got to that damn level. It's like, man.
Right.
Yeah, that had great music though. That
Straight
damn
up.
level had great music.
There is a hand of Omega. There is a
And I was saying, like, Konami was pretty good about music back then. Go ahead, Dido.
he was mentioning about a submarine combat game, and there's one off the top of my head that came out for the Saturn and PlayStation, and it was made by the same people that did Metal Slug.
Oh,
In the Hunt.
In the Hunt.
There
Great
you go.
arcade game.
Yeah.
Great arcade game. I love that. I did love that one.
You know what? Did any of you guys remember that Sequest game that was on Genesis?
No. I mean,
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yes, I know what
seen
you're talking
it.
about, but I never tried to play it. Never.
I had Sega Channel, so I had opportunity. So
nice.
Sega Channel. Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Minority Games is asking, how was Transformers? Are you talking about Beast Wars?
Haven't watched it.
Rise of the Beast.
Rise of the Beast, excuse me?
It was solid.
This was good.
Rise of the Beast was great.
It was cool.
It was good.
It was cool.
It was really good.
I'll watch it next week.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
He says he's off, so yeah. So he
Oh,
says
that's right,
he
you
I
should.
think it's
that.
been
Yeah,
on VOD,
So,
though, but yeah. It's
Are you gonna
definitely
write
worth
down a
the
list
watch.
of the things you're gonna check out?
No, I
this
already have it
next week?
kind of in my head.
Yo, you do? Okay, all right, cool. No, that's good. No, that's really good. Let's see. We're getting close on the time.
Close.
Minority Game. Yeah. So he says yes. He was talking about Rise of the Beasts.
Yes, solid watch. If you haven't,
A very
watched
solid
it,
watch. If you were out on the Transformers movies after the last night and you skipped Bumblebee because you were afraid, go ahead and watch this. This was actually really good. Really, really good. It's fun.
I'd say go back and watch Bumblebee in that case, but yeah.
Oh, that's right, Dad. Did you watch Bumblebee? I forgot that.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did finally.
What'd you think?
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think it was kind of weird how and I think it was kind of cool that they did that because it was setting up my man that liked her. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna get together. It's like, no. And I was just like, that's kind of like real life. So you don't always get the girl, no matter what you went through.
That's true. No,
Yeah.
that's 100% true.
Yeah. So
But you have to admit, if they just gave us an entire movie of the first 10 minutes of Bumblebee, we would be happy. Dido.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not wrong.
Sorry, I was looking at Gamescom.
out there.
I was looking at Gamescom's game, and they just showed another game. It looks like a Monkey King game, but it's like Dark Souls.
Yes, that's Black Wukong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black
Who
Wukong.
mentioned that?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
was
must
the
have
one
been-
getting that
you
phone
guys
one to
must
play.
have been saying words,
That
and they
was the
didn't click
first
that I was
one.
hearing.
Yeah, no,
Just
Black
words.
Wukong. Yeah. Yeah.
To your point though about that one game, Crimson Desert, looking like Zelda, that looked very tacked on. When they got to that part where they were starting to do a bunch of stuff, because like the entire game looked like one type of style,
Mhm.
then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so y'all was just copying off of Tears of the Kingdom's homework because those little moments felt so like out of place. I'm like, okay, well, and again, maybe that's what the whole story of the game is about, like similar to Assassin's Creed, where you suddenly get into the out of the Animus. I'm like, what the hell is it? What is this? Especially when you first play the original game.
Mhm.
But it's I don't know. So we'll see.
Speaking of games
it'll probably be fine,
that
but-
kind of disappointed me out of Gamescom, Assassin's Creed Mirage
Mhm.
just looked like the first Assassin's Creed game all over again, except for it's set in Baghdad. Like
Yeah.
it didn't look any different. Like what are we doing here?
Assassin's Creed has always been a fun series, but I think they're getting to the point where they jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Like, they
It's
have
like- it's
so
like once
many
you-
of them. Go ahead, Fallen.
It's like once they kind of got away from the Desmond storyline, like they didn't really know what they were doing and were just going purely on whatever aesthetic the next game was going to be. Because say what you want about the Unity and then Syndicate, even though I kind of like Syndicate because it was like industrial area London,
Mhm.
but stuff like Origins and stuff like that, like those leave a positive mark on people, but it's just like, okay, other than that, like what is the point of these series now? I don't
Yeah.
What are we even still doing now?
When they got to Valhalla and you were able to get the Odin's spear and then Thor's hammer, I was like, okay, I'm done.
Okay, that's way too far.
Sounds fun though.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun, but it's like at that point, it's like you're okay. Are you an assassin or are you a god? It's like,
yeah,
what are they trying to do?
It's like they're going way all off into like the mythology and stuff or whatever. Which I mean, they kind of hinted at with the first few games, but it's just like, hey, where do we go from here? Do we go from one, regional pantheon to the other? It's just like that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Minority Games can't wait to play Ahsoka and Assassin's Creed Red.
How has Assassin's Creed not given us a Ninja episode? So technically, Assassin's Creed Jade is supposed to be it. But Assassin's Creed Jade is mobile only. Like what? Like what is that? Like how are you doing a mobile only Assassin's Creed game? Like what is that?
I don't think that's the first time.
You think that's the first time they did what?
I don't think that's the first time they've done mobile only. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know they came out with some 2D Assassin's Creed games that nobody talks about. It came out probably Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
It was you talking about the one that was on like it was like on 3DS and stuff, because it was like one that was like in China, another one was like somewhere in the Middle East. I don't remember.
Yeah, I saw that on
it was just
360. Like, it came on 3DS as well.
I was just looking at that Assassin's Creed, Jade trailer, and I was, as I was watching it from the Gamescom trailer yesterday, and I was just like, Ghost of Tsushima has done all this and done it better. Like, what are we doing here? Really, what are we doing here?
They're behind the curve. I mean, the thing is, I think like when they were going to do it, they should have done it around the time they made, what was it, Odyssey? I think it was. And it was like, because even when they put out Odyssey, I thought Odyssey was like an odd choice. I'm like, bro, like, are we like ever going to get out of Europe at this point? Like,
yeah, I mean that also was the problem. They had that one year they came out with, what was it, Rogue and Syndicate or something like all at the same time, and then they were glitchy as all get out, and it was just like, y'all need to slow down, or either that or go back to the drawing board and do something different with this series, because it was falling into a straight up rut.
So would I be crazy to call for an Assassin's Creed America version?
They already had
they
that.
did
That was
that.
three.
Two of them.
That's three.
Yeah,
No, not. I'm not. Okay,
You
you're
mean
right.
like modern
No,
day?
you're right.
You mean
You're
modern
right.
day?
No, you're absolutely right. I'm not talking about Civil War era America. I'm talking modern day
It
America.
was a Civil War. It was American
Something like that,
Revolution.
right? Would I be crazy calling for something like that, where you're driving
Assassin's
around in a
Creed
car?
now?
Yeah. Like, or would it just end up being like Hitman?
Well, so we had
It's Hitman. That's what it is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
it's
Hitman. Or it'll be the Michael Fassbender movie.
Oh, wait, no, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
no, sir.
Brian Cannon has asked the last question. Brian Cannon has asked, anybody surprised they haven't made an Assassin's Creed 2 movie? Absolutely not.
No,
the first movie.
Absolutely
not at
not.
all.
After
The
that,
first one was
garbage.
The first movie was a dud, man. Like,
Garbage.
And the worst part is they had all the stuff in place to make it right.
They sure did.
Just dropped the ball.
How do you fumble that bad?
you know what? I really think that was probably like one of like the last few projects that like had the talent but still fell like on like the lower end of the total poem with priority. So it's like because every time that happens, it always goes to a director you don't know. It goes to a bunch of writers that haven't had that much experience, and they just like, okay, you're allotted this much budget with this studio, and then there you go. It's like they always do that with those properties. I think like the only anomaly like before or after whatever might have been Prince of Persia, because that actually had a bit more money behind it.
It did.
Disney behind it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That just didn't work.
And Marnie Games, that Assassin's Creed Red was in Japan, I believe.
Yeah, but that was like the mobile one, wasn't it? Or
No. That was it was actually the game that was assigned for the multiple systems.
Oh.
But yeah, we don't know yet if it's coming out or not.
Yeah,
So
like I said, Assassin's Creed ain't been special to me since the
yeah,
Enzo trilogy.
Enzio, yeah, I agree.
Outside of that,
Yeah.
I don't even
Now, once Ezio's story was over, it was kind of like,
Yeah, I feel
like,
like,
and it's not even really it's not even really to say like 3 was a bad game, because it wasn't. Like, I like 3. I just think that I don't know, maybe just the way that one was introduced just was like kind of strange, because it was like, I guess like you got introduced to the one buddy that wound up being a Templar, and then you transition to the guy that's half native, half indigenous or whatever, and then you play his story. And it's like, why don't you just stick with one character? I mean,
again, they're doing too much.
At
least with Ezio, you got his entire story. You got, his young days all the way to when he basically retired. Like, that was a good. They could have literally, and again, I get it. They want to make more money, but they could have ended the series there and been good.
Something all right? You good? That face you made was
every once in a while I like to look into the program where I have the collection where I put my games, and I put in Assassin's Creed, and part 1 is not in there. I know I have part 1. I got to go home.
Now he's got to find it.
Because now here's the thing: the original game was groundbreaking. We're talking about innovative. That was innovative as all get out, except for the fact my man couldn't swim. That pissed me off. I
was like, dive into a bale of hay.
I was like, dude, right? You jump off of a 1,400-story building into a bale of hay, but you fall in the water and die. I'm like, get out of here! I can't swim.
I was like, that was always a weird thing with games, that there was not like a swim mechanics in games were rare for like at that point, which is weird, because it was like, even with Grand Theft Auto, it's like they didn't really put one in there until. Was it San Andreas, or did they put it in Vice City?
Was it?
Ooh, because you could swim in San Andreas. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that was the first one you could swim in, because that's the one where they had an actual triathlon in the game, where it was running, swimming, and biking. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was a mission that you could do that, because that was a game you could get fat. If you worked out, you get muscle, or you can get muscular, or you can be just
that's really cool. I like that.
San Andreas was dope.
Here's the funny thing: I've still never played that game. I own that.
San Andreas.
Played it? Because remember, I was working at EB at the time, so I bought it day one. But then shortly after that, that was the hot coffee thing.
Did you ever open it?
Never opened it.
Oh,
I have a hot coffee copy.
I do too, but it is definitely open.
I could easily go and get the trilogy or whatever and just play it, or download it on PlayStation Plus.
If you can, I would just recommend just playing the original one, because it's like, just on the strength that it's in its original format. There's no like game breaking crap in it, and it's a full soundtrack, because a few of those songs they took out in the more recent ports.
Yeah, but I'm not opening a hot coffee. I'm not opening a hot coffee copy of San Andreas.
You better not. You better say that and put it on eBay or something.
I'm just saying, if you can find an older copy.
Oh, I'm sure I can. Yeah. What was that, PS2? I'm sure I can find.
Or Xbox.
I go to Disc Replay. I can probably go to Disc Replay right. No. Grand Theft Auto is a PlayStation.
PlayStation only. That's it.
Was it? Did they not make that on Xbox?
They did.
But
I
and
played
it was actually
on
better on the Xbox, because Xbox was a more powerful machine than the PlayStation 2. But some people just prefer it on one system.
That's right. No, that's right.
That's Tekken was always a PlayStation franchise for me too.
I bought Tekken 6 on 360 just because, but part of me wants to get it on the PlayStation 3 to have my PlayStation Tekken collection
all the way through.
Yeah. All right, I'm cutting you off right now.
That's fine.
Cutting you off right now. We went way over, so we're gonna give people. We gave y'all a whole bunch of time. So cutting y'all off right now. So next week's show is going to be the growing impact of AI on our media, whether it be what we read online, what we consume online, and maybe even what we start to watch. So make sure you come back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for the next great episode of Culture Junkies Live. Obviously, we want to thank all of our patrons once again for their support. And, if you want to join the ranks of the patrons, go to patreon.com/culturejunkies. I want to thank all of our more recent re-ups and resubscribers. I want to thank our tippers like Minority Games and Wolverine Solid X. Shout out to Mark Cooper. I saw you a little bit earlier. Welcome back to the show, sir. What was that you were saying, GQ?
Marcus A64 tipped as well.
Yeah, he did. Okay, Marcus A64 as well. Thank you all for all your tips and your ongoing support. We look forward to coming back and enjoying entertaining you next week. So for my Grands, the Great Datakuji, GQ, Fallen Marvel, and Amarat,
and the producer
Simon Says, we out here. Peace out. Have a great weekend.
I need to go back and watch
Just
that.
watched that again recently too.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't like the Blu-ray version versus the original leaked version.
I like the leaked version more.
Leaked version was better, man.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate, but it is.
So the one they released on Blu-ray did have the scenes cut out of that?
Oh
one?
yeah. The whole the pimp scene was completely different. Not completely, but it was very different.
Yeah, there was a scene with that white dude, whatever, that was like, I want Black Diamond, where they killed him with the helicopter. That wasn't in the leaked version.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, the leaked version was better though. I like that one.
I like the leaked version better than. And by the way, that new is supposed to be out soon.
Oh,
Johnny Black.
Yeah. I think